Ivana Bajic is a multimedia producer drawn to stories where nature, emotion, and human transformation intersect, including the healing power of the ocean. Here's my conversation with Ivana.
It's not good to say bad things. If you don't need to say it, don't say it. That's my new mantra. If you don't need to say it, don't say it. Just don't say it.
Well, it might come through in a different context, what we're about to talk about, but I will introduce you, Ivana. Okay, I did actually research when I mentioned your name in a previous episode, because I did talk about you in a previous episode for your book. Bajic.
Bajic, but it doesn't. Yeah. I saw everybody said Bajic. When I heard, I used to it now, but it's okay.
It's good to learn. Ivana Bajic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for making the time to speak with me today. I do really appreciate it. And I have a bit of a story about how we met, which I can talk about. Or first you talk about a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I am Southeast European. We had like a big war when I was a teenager, and my biggest desire was to run away. So I lived around the world, changing different countries, trying to find a place to call it home. So I lived a little bit in London. I was working in a film production there. Then I lived in Los Angeles for 7 years. I also upgraded, like working in film and AI. And then I got pregnant, and then I stopped working in this industry because it's very stressful, and I got pregnant very late. So I didn't want to, I really was like, okay, I want to carry this pregnancy with love and compassion to myself and my baby. So I a little bit back off from the industry. That's when I actually start surfing. A little bit before I got pregnant, a little bit during my pregnancy, and like literally a month after I delivered my baby, I was like in the water every day because I have a house in Costa Rica. That was a blessing for many, many years. And I just get in love in the ocean and the water, and I found amazing community there. So I switched a little bit how I work. So I made a book about female surfers, which are non-professional surfers, which are like everyday women who found a connection in the ocean to their bodies, to their friends, and found like a great fun in sports surf. And then after that, I started research. I learned a lot about surf therapy. I started working on a project to make a film about surf therapy, which is only focused for female communities or how we can heal trauma in women which are confronting different types of traumas comparing to people who have different type of illness or children. So I was really focused on that, and I was working on that almost 2.5, 3 years now. So that was my research work. And in the meantime, because, we all need to survive, I help my husband and my friends. So I work on different kind of projects. But I'm very, very focused to produce this film because I think it's necessary to a community, to society in general.
That's amazing. I mean, I found out about you through your book, and then I listened to some of the podcasts and learned a lot about just surfing in general. And then the Hawaiian culture, I thought it was amazing that it was a sport for everybody, and it wasn't for the elite athletes. It was for everyone. And maybe because they knew it had healing properties for people. But talk a little bit more about surf therapy, like ocean therapy, and then specifically surf therapy. I'm so curious to know how those relate.
Exactly. So 5 years ago when I started surfing, not only I saw the physical change, like that you're more endurant, that your brain is function faster, that you're more forgiving. So that was all like, wow, this is amazing how we can like gain from the sport, not only a strength, but also mental strength, not only physical strength, and how we are literally changing perspective in a day-to-day life, or when you drive or when you're in a meeting and stuff like that. I was very curious about that. And when COVID was, there was no job in LA. So I left with my family to Costa Rica, and I said, oh my God, this is the perfect moment that I explore this deeper. And it was so spontaneous. You don't understand. This book was made literally from love and curiosity. So I gathered the team. I invited a woman who lives in France, who is a street photographer. She is like specialized in street photography. And she flew from France, because she's originally Costa Rican, to work with me on a concept. And we were like thinking, oh, how we can show to people who are not that connected to the water, or they're afraid of water, that female body and the water are actually the same thing. Because, we know that salinity in our body when we are pregnant, when women are pregnant, is the similar that the ocean, but there is a lot of stigma around the water. We are not aware how many people actually do not swim or have a fear of water. And especially women who were for many, many centuries forbidden to enter the water. It was not something common for us. And then there is like stigma about what you wear in the water and how the body looks like in that bathing suit in the water. So there is so many, negative stuff around water that women are not that much exposed to the water. The percentage of swimmers and surfers and whatever, like even, women are sunbath on a beach and men do a different kind of sports. So which is so very crazy, right? So we wanted to create a project. It was not a book at the beginning. I just wanted to show how water and female body has a similarity physically, like with the wrinkles and what we carry inside and how we produce something always and how life lives in us and from us. And that was the visual part of the book. And then I said, well, I am from film. I don't understand 2D. For me, it's too flat. It's too boring. I can't just look. And if I'm not artistic enough, I will not even understand what is going on here. So we extended the project, and I said, I want to talk to people. I want to talk to this woman, and I want to understand why would they move from big cities, leave their great careers, or push the whole family from, very rich city life with culture and social life and stuff to something which is very rural, living in areas like Nosara, a little village in Costa Rica, or anywhere else in the world, like a little beach towns. And it was fascinating to find out how most of these women, they made this change, this step into unknown because of the trauma. That was the problem. Some of them have cancer. Some of them experience deep pain because they were violated in some way, physically or mentally. Some of them were burning out so much from the amount of pressure to be pretty, to work hard, to bring the money, to raise the kids. They were just like falling apart in their heads. And then when they come to a place where they could be close to the water, surf, change a little bit, the day doesn't start with the alarm, let's go, a traffic jam, I will eat banana while I'm putting baby in a, daycare, to live to something, okay, I'm going to wake up with the sunrise, I'm going to surf with that sunrise, and I'm going to achieve similar amount of work, and I will go and live maybe more simple life and not having all the stuff, but I will still be like more aware of what is going on with my family, with myself, or, take care of my health as now I'm on a critical stage. That was the change. And I was fascinated. There was no one story, oh, I came to the beach, I really like the beach, and I stand to live here. There was not even one. We interviewed 50 women, 30 in the book. There was not one saying that thing. Even young ones. Even young ones were like, oh, I finished university and I end up in Osara for like internship. But then I realized how I'm different here, and I'm not angry, and I'm not, always like sad and mad. Even young people have this. So I was like, oh my God, there is something more in this. There is something so deep in this. Luckily, I met Natalie Small. She's the founder of Groundswell Community Project, which is actually surf therapy dedicated to women groups. And she was trained in Argentina, I think, with a somatic therapist. And somatic therapy is any kind of therapy, like you can dance or paint, express yourself in the way which is not verbal. And why she said that surf therapy works in healing trauma is that we constantly need to repeat why we feel the pain. Example, you were raped, you need to go through that rape in any kind of verbal therapy. Go through that. And it's such a pressure for your body and your brain to confront that image over and over again. I gave a bad example, but it can be a very mellow one. It can be like, oh, I work 17 hours, my kids, they don't love me, my husband is never home. It can be even that, it's just that pressure. And I was really curious about surf therapy. And I spare every free second of my life to meet as much as possible surf therapists around the world. Around the world. That was so hard to meet them, to gain the trust, to understand how they work with the different communities, to learn that in Brazil, there is a surf therapy group who works with the young teenage girls, pushing them to be a sport people, to engage in the water, to feel that they're brave and not see their moms who are mostly helpers in the houses, or they do very hard job cleaning hotels and private houses, private villas, and going in the road to being a prostitute, like they're saving them from the streets and from the drugs. I met Valentina from Chile, who helps women in prison, and she's like helping women when they come out from the prison to gain a community and trust to themselves. Because when they come out from the prison, whole world, it doesn't matter which country, they're the most discarded, non-acceptable. You don't even ask her why she ended up there, because, it's so shameful for women to end up in a prison. And so on, like in Scotland, there are women who are older, and there is a culture that, young people are too busy to take care of their elders. So they stay alone and die alone, and nobody even knows that some of them died in their apartments, just watching TV and eating, So there are communities, and even that's supported by a government, that they go to surf therapy to find a community of friends and work on mobility, so they don't let it go. So I think personally, if I'm like raw honest, I more care how socially and culturally women are not allowed to live full life. And I use surf therapy. I use this, connection with the water in the project that we are trying to create and push to be filmed, that we see through this surf therapy all these social and cultural barriers that we have. And it's 2026. We should be more open and more fluent with expression how we feel and where are the barriers that society is putting on women. Still there, that barriers are still there, who we are, how we gain our respect, how much money you have, put you in a position in a society. And I think that's a big collective trauma. It's very hard. I worked in film. I worked for Warner Brothers. I have a good connections in the film industry. But, it was always a question, where is the celebrity in this film? Like, where is some celebrity? Or, you know what? This topic about women, it's not that important. It's not that big. People will not watch. It doesn't have that massive media. Or, why don't you pass 2 million followers so we can use them? Like, of course, the market is very commercial and everything is about the money. And there are people who still believe, and we are still working on this. But, I don't know what happened last 5 years. We're only looking like horses with the things on their eyes, like into how one celebrity lives, what one celebrity achieved, how they treats her family. And we are so far away from that. That's not the material we should be seeing. This is not how we're going to learn something or gain something. It's not a real life. It's not a real story.
I mean, I have so many questions. Like, my mind is going like, but I'm wondering if that celebrity culture, as you've been talking to people all around the world, is there a different perspective in other parts of the world that's not so hyper focused on what 1 out of a million did, and we want to imitate that and only follow them and not look at the bigger picture?
No, I'm sorry. No.
Same everywhere.
Same everywhere, because it's easier to watch somebody dance and show you their Chanel bags on their wardrobe. There is no content in the whole world. The content changed, right? You're most of the time on your phone, and there is always this desire for more. What can I do more? How can I achieve more? And this is what we were served. Okay, this is what this younger generation serve. You can easily earn money working on your, social media content all the time. Or it's better that you show how amazing your life is and not ever talk about pain or problems. Hide what are your marks or scars or everything which is not super beautiful. Hide it because it's not acceptable. It's a global trend. where would you see, like, like on social media, a normal woman cooking with a normal pots and serving rice and beans that has 10,000 likes, 100,000 likes? It's not possible. It doesn't work anymore. But the talented people are everywhere. And people who serve the society are everywhere, in Canada, in Brazil, in Hawaii, in Chile, and everywhere. And they doing a great job. It's just like you really need to focus to find out. When I started working like on this project, I started advising a lot of my friends to use surf therapy in many different ways. I don't have an ocean, I don't have time. Okay, but try to go out and swim in a pool. We should think how we can use water in any way.
Just a quick question about that, because I'm Canadian, right? So we have tons of fresh water. I am used to lakes and rivers. I love to swim. I love being in the water. The ocean, totally different story for me. I was terrified. Like, I've had the good fortune to go twice to Costa Rica. I'm super lucky. And the first time particularly was for surf lessons. And when I met you, you came over to where we were eating dinner and you were so gracious, and you talked to Heather and Heidi and me. We talked a bit about your book. And at one point you wished us big waves. I remember this so vividly. You're like, I wish you great big waves. And I was like, no, please no. And you're like, be brave. And I thought, okay. There's something about, for me anyway, like, I think all water is incredible to experience and to be in. And maybe I'm prejudiced a bit because I'm so used to fresh waters that I'm used to it. But there's something about the physical composition of the water, the fact that it's salt and full of ions, and apparently there's like exchanges between our body and the water and all that stuff going on. And I'm terrified. And so for me, that was kind of like that, so surf therapy and having experienced trauma and being in a place where you can learn to feel confident, even though you're scared, and that you can kind of like be okay in the scary, salty water. I was like, that's fascinating.
Okay, first of all, it's very hard to be injured in the water because it's water. If you want to injure yourself in the water, if it happens that you get, injured with a board, that's because you pushed too hard. You pushed. And if you push, that means or you're progressing or you were naughty. You were naughty. You were not good. You were not listening to the water. You were like, you're not obeying where you are. You're not listening to your host, which is not cool. And if you are just playing and learning and you have a coach, or you are going out to a session with a friend and you're just soft and gentle, you will never be hurt in the water. Even big waves, small waves, medium waves, Of course, you're not going to charge on a 8-foot wave if you don't know how to surf, but you can still play around in a white water, or maybe go even paddle out, stay there, feel it, come back. You don't have to, do acrobatic stuff. Everybody has to stay in their level in everything, right? If you're just a beginner driver, you're not going to go and rush on a highways in a full speed first day, after you just get your driving license. If you're just cooking your first meal, please don't make like a feast, just fried an egg and stuff. It's the same. It's a rule of life, right? You just slowly are learning. But what is interesting, when you say fear, we all have fears. We are all full of fears. And these times are getting worse and worse. Like, we live with the worst people above us who are just scaring us with everything, with wars, with recessions and stuff like that. And that culminates in our bodies, and that's our base to get ill in any way, physically, mentally, And we cope with that because we are living in such a fast, speed. Everything is so fast. So we don't have time to cope with these emotions. When you go in any kind of water, especially salty water, it has all this, what you said, benefits for your physical body. When you go there, you cannot have your phone. It's not possible. There is no phone in the water. It doesn't matter what you wear. Anyway, we don't see it. You are in the water. And then you cannot have a makeup. There is no perfect hairstyle. There's so many limitations in the water, what you can bring in. Actually, you can only bring yourself. me, myself, and I, and my board. And that's when you're like release of the chains. And this is why you love it. And after a while, when you start doing this more often and often, you don't want to go back in that chains. You're now opposite. You're like, oh, wait. No, I'm going to make myself and my life a little bit like rotate this so I don't go back in a full chains. And I understand. I talk a lot with my friends. I can say, oh, you know what? You're so much privileged than me. You're earning more money, your husband earns more money, or your kids are already finished the school, and I have to wipe my ass of my daughter still every day, Like I can say that, and then your friend can say, well, she's much more privileged. Look where she lives in Miami, gorgeous, So we have this like putting a blame on situation, on life, on where are we coming from and how we live, who are our partners, children. But it's actually really, we forgot that freedom inside of us needs to be connected to something. And the biggest body you can connect your freedom is water. That's the biggest body. It's releasing. There is nothing that you have to take care of it after that.
There's something that you said earlier that the ocean's in charge. The ocean's the host. Like you've got to listen and you do what the ocean is suggesting that you do. If you fight the ocean, you're going down. And I wonder if I think this is probably pretty clear, but one of our strategies for managing in very fast, chaotic, scary times is we numb ourselves, right? So we're like, this is so much to cope with that I'm just like shutting down so that I can survive in my day to day. So I go into the ocean and I'm getting, Heather's teaching me how, and so I'll do a run and then I'll come back and she'll say, so did you feel like the ocean was sort of trying to push you this way, but you kind of went that way? And I was like, no. I didn't feel anything. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, just try to feel it. I'm like, just that, like just learning how to surrender a bit to the environment and say, okay. And then I sort of feel like, now I can feel I'm not in charge. And then I can kind of release some of that fear that I have, because really what I'm trying to do is fight the ocean. Not a good idea. Like that's not what it's for. That's not what our role is. Our role is to go with the waves.
I'm like such an intermediate surfer, and I don't have enough time to become better. I would love to. I would die for it, but I don't have time. It's just life. It is what it is. Now I surf like 7 years, let's say. I love the time in between the sets. You have to listen. You have to listen, because there's so many sounds around you in the water. Of the wave, of the bird, of the whatever is happening up and down. When you're under the water as well. Also, people, I have 1 hour to surf and I have to go. That's not going to be a good session. I don't say, you need more time. I say, if you have 1 hour to surf, just give yourself 20 minutes of that 1 hour of loving everything, yourself, the environment. And especially at the beginning of the session, it's not that first wave. I need to get it first wave. No, that first wave, let it go and take it soft one and maybe smaller one and be happy. Yeah, I got this one. Don't charge it, and then like a little bit submerge yourself, and then charge 30 minutes. And I also sometimes I want to wave, and then I usually get crashed badly. But this is a reflection of our lives. Right? This is what we want. I want. My husband usually say to me, listen to yourself. I want. What is that? What does it mean, Ivana? And I'm like, you're right. I would love to have, how can I accomplish this? Is this now a time to have this? We have to remind ourselves constantly about that. Being brave, it's a huge problem today. We're not brave anymore. I'm very interested in that. Being brave became a negative thing. Being brave is a negative, or too scary, or it doesn't even exist. Oh, why would I change this? Let me keep this job. It paid the bills. Or why would I say anything to her? She's higher position or on a different level than me. She would never hear me or accept me, or, oh, why would I fight with him? We live 25 years like this. Why would I change? Oh, he beats me. Okay, it's occasional. He doesn't beat me every day. It's because of his mama. We are not brave anymore. So I really think that more we are pressed and we are pressed a lot. But more we are pressed, we're finding some kind of inner channels to connect and get together. Like you and me, I met you in a restaurant. Then you got my book. Then I saw you next time on a beach and I was like, hey, I do this. And then like, hey, like I text you. I don't have this like barrier to communicate with other women. I want to be in contact. I want to know what is happening. If you have a problem with allergies, I have a doctor. You want to do a podcast, I have a story. It's nice that we're connecting on this level without these barriers. And it's easier for people from the water people, because we are a little bit more open and relaxed. I don't even know where do you exactly live, how much you earn, what is your background, who's your husband, I don't care. It's just like I met you on a beach and that's for me enough to trust you, like, oh, this is my water friend and I want to have connection with you. And I think that's beautiful about finding the community. And maybe for us, for you and me and women who are listening to this, it's a water, but it can be Mother Earth as well. There is so many ways to find and connect. We are not telling you to engage to water. We're telling you it's healing and good and it has so many benefits, but we're also saying there is a way to find something that you can do with other women where you will be off these chains of modern society and be more relaxed to share the bad things the same as the good things.
So all of that, and I think there's a part of it that is, I think you can tell when somebody is pursuing something because they care about it. They just have a passion for it. And it could be water, it could be something else, it could be painting, but if it's something that the other person does because they just really feel called to do it and they don't do it to get followers and they don't do it to get more money or nothing against that. Like if that's your thing or if it happens. But I think there's something about community is also finding other people who have care for what they're doing. And they know that by connecting with other people, that just grows the care. That grows the connections and it grows the passion and it extends to other people. So you and your work of the film and the book and everything have been able to connect with other women and they've accomplished amazing things on their own, but also probably because you're paying attention and you're like, yeah, I see what you're doing. That's really cool what you're doing. And so they're like, yeah, it is really cool. Okay, like let's grow this. And then some young girl goes in the program and she grows from that. And then some young kids are going to watch her and say, oh, I didn't think that was possible. Maybe I could do that too. And so the way that grows is just, it's beautiful. I get a little excited, but I just think it's really beautiful.
You know why you're 110% right. You know why? We only do things for people or things that we care. If we don't care about something or we don't have a knowledge about something, we will not do anything for that. Nothing. Maybe that's a human nature, but it's okay. Shark will eat you anyway. Shark will eat you because that's her nature. The dog will guard the house no matter what. It's his nature. So that's our nature. We really need to find a way to care. If there is a little spark of love and passion, it's tiniest, we will pay attention. And when you pay attention, it's done. It's already done. The game started. And that's beautiful. Like maybe this is why we are so engaged to the water, because she gave us this passion. We start caring. If we put the guard down just a little bit, we can see that we care about each other much more than we want to say.
Just a brief note, I couldn't resist including the story of how I met Ivana.
We met on a beach in Costa Rica.
Yeah, that's a big benefit because it was beach in Costa Rica.
It was beach in Costa Rica.
It was like a 3 stars, because it was my beach, my home.
But it was so crazy because I saw your book in the surf shop in the morning. We walked to the beach and Heather, the surf instructor, said, oh yeah, I saw that book too. I met the author, Ivana. She was in LA. She was doing a tour for the book. I got the book. I talked to her. That night, this all happens in the same day. That night, Heather goes, that's her at the table at dinner, like right across. I was like, no, it's too crazy. It's so crazy.
The energy.
Learn more about Ivana and her broad scope of work on Instagram at, and I'm going to spell this, AVANABAJIC, and at nature_of_surfwomen, and online at natureofsurfwomen.com.